and all is still go as we monitor our status for it. Good luck and Godspeed.
Have you ever had a premonition, a feeling that something dreadful was about to happen?
No, Mother, I have not been drinking.
Do you happen to have a pair of birds that are just friendly?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
I have to go back into the past once more, just once more.
This is Hitchpod, a podcast counting down the 20 best movies of the wonderful 20th century director Alfred Hitchcock. In this podcast, we rewatch a Hitchcock movie and then we talk about it. I'm Dan Lipke and I'm watching a car sink into mud.
And I'm Kat Jones and I'm hiding stolen cash in newspapers because this time around we're rewatching the second best Hitchcock movie as voted on by our listeners, Psycho from 1960.
Yeah, so what happened in 1960?
Let's take a time travel back to 1960. It's hard to imagine. It was a long time ago.
Yes.
Anyway, the pill was approved in the US.
Yes, ladies could have sex without getting pregnant.
Yes. And we could make a joke about the US now and the pill, but we won't.
We won't, yes. The Flintstones debuted on television. So cartoons, coming to life. So back in the Stone Age, we could make a joke about that as well, but we won't.
You've really tied this together well. Anyway, the first laser was demonstrated as well.
Yeah, I feel like every time we do this, we've got lasers in there. So I think they're inventing them, then they were demonstrating them, and
using them.
A long process with lasers. On the publishing front, To Kill a Mockingbird was published.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty swiftly turned into a movie as well.
And then it stays on the curriculum of every single conservative school in the world forevermore.
Yep.
Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, wins Olympic boxing gold in Rome.
And in music, we had Theme from a Summer Place by Percy Faith was the number one song in the US. Australia instead preferred It's Now or Never by Elvis Presley. So,
good work.
Yes.
People, at these parties where they were playing these songs, they were also doing the twist.
Yeah, a bit of chubby checker.
Bit of dancing.
Yes. The first weather satellite was launched, so people could actually predict the weather.
There you go. Sri Lanka elected the world's first female prime minister.
Good work, Sri Lanka. And from the Onion's Guide to Our Dumb Century, from their front page dated November the 9th, 1960, headline, Our First Handsome President. With his victory over Richard Nixon, John F. Kennedy made history Tuesday, becoming the first handsome man to occupy the White House. There you go.
And of course, 1960 also saw the release of Psycho.
Yes. And before we get into the recap, which Kat is about to do, just a quick reminder that you can listen to Hitchpod episodes on YouTube if that's how you prefer to do so, youtube.hitchpodonline.com. And while you're going to youtube.hitchpodonline.com, you can also go to newsletter.hitchpodonline.com, and that's where you can sign up to my newsletter, which covers a wide variety of topics, one of which is movies, and in particular Hitchcock movies. And now Kat will recap.
All right. We're in Phoenix and Secretary Marion Crane returns from a lunchtime tryst with her boyfriend, Sam.
Yeah, and we mentioned that it was a very late lunch as well. It was like 2:30 or something.
I think she must have gone to lunch at 1 p.m. And I guess it's an hour and a half by the time she gets back.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway, Sam's too poor to make an honest woman out of her because he spends all his money flying backwards and forwards from California to visit her, presumably.
Yep. Yes.
Anyway, she therefore takes it upon herself to sort out the problem and she steals $40,000 in cash. She's been tasked with taking that to the bank in her handbag.
Yes.
Anyway, she sets out to drive to California and despite attracting the attention of a highway cop with fantastic mirrored shades,
yes,
she seems to have gotten away with her crime, at least for the moment. So we have a turn in the weather, the rain buckets down and she decides to take shelter at the otherwise vacant Bates Motel.
Oh, bad move, Marion.
Yeah, that's where she meets the hotel owner, Norman Bates. Feels like she should have known this. She should have seen this movie and known about Norman Bates being a bad idea.
Or at least read the book.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a soft-spoken, bird-stuffing character who offers her sandwiches and milk for dinner.
Yes.
As the two chat, Marion realises she's made a bit of a mistake and she resolves to drive back to Phoenix the next day, turn over that new leaf and return the money she stole. Anyway, just before she heads to bed, she decides to have a shower.
Yep.
This is a mistake.
It is a mistake, yeah.
Anyway, a silhouette of a woman, Norman's mother, appears behind the curtain. And to the accompaniment of screaming and stabbing strings, Marion screams. She's stabbed to death, and still half the movie is yet to come. So anyway, Norman, horrified, arrives, cleans, wraps, mops, and leverages an on-site swamp as his waste management solution. So he sinks Marion's car and, unknowingly, her cash-stuffed newspaper with the resignation of a man who's definitely done this before.
Poor Norman.
And the movie then switches to Marion's sister Lila and the boyfriend Sam and the private investigator Arbogast. These people in these movies have the best names.
Yes.
Arbogast tracks Marion to the motel, but when he tries to investigate the attached house and Norman's mother, she attacks him with a knife, sends him tumbling down the stairs, and now he's dead.
Yep.
Undeterred, Lila and Sam continue the investigation. Does Arbogast get put in the swamp too? He does.
Yeah, I think so.
In his car. Yep. Anyway, while Sam distracts Norman, Lila explores the house before she descends into the fruit cellar to discover mother is a mummified corpse.
Very fitting.
And the killer is in fact Norman, fractured into two personalities with dissociative identity disorder. He appears in a dress and wig and attempts to kill Lila, but Sam, previously knocked unconscious, he's recovered in the nick of time to subdue him. Anyway, a police psychiatrist then profiles Norman before we end the movie, giving us one of cinema's great final stares.
A good deal of our food's been ruined. 3 out of the 4 water breakers have been smashed. A lot of water leaked out of the 4th one before it was taped. What worries me is the compass. Knocked to pieces. That's a bit awkward.
Caught in a shipwreck? Lost in the Atlantic? Say ahoy to German in a Box, your saviour for all stranded at sea situations. German in a Box will provide you with the practical, efficient solutions needed to get you to safety.
The Captain?
Yeah?
German in a Box may attempt to instead steer you towards an enemy U-boat.
So, as always, I've written 3 jokes and a limerick on the movie. Kat will give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down on them. So, here we go. The shower scene apparently took 7 days to shoot, mostly because every time Hitch yelled cut, Perkins would resume stabbing. So that was very confusing.
Yeah, it's a thumbs up.
Yeah. And Hitch also had a similar problem in the edit when a shot of Janet Leigh's dead body was almost removed from the film due to his perverse insistence on referring to the bathroom tiles as the cutting room floor.
Oh, no. I think you're getting a groan for that one.
Okay. But of course, because it was shot in black and white, they were famously able to use chocolate syrup for the blood. What I still don't get, though, is how they got the syrup into Janet Leigh's veins.
Okay, you get a thumbs up on that one.
All right. Here's the limerick.
Okay.
If you've stolen 40k from your boss and then fled, you might seek a room, some food, and a bed. But in the Bates Motel, things rarely go well, and even the shower might leave you quite dead.
Yeah, that's a great limerick. That should be sort of a famous opening to Psycho, I think.
Yeah.
Well, spoiler.
Spoiler. Yeah, it is a bit of a spoiler. Maybe it could be an opening for a sequel.
The second reel.
Yes, yes. All right. So what did we notice on a second time through watching this movie?
Or a 10th time through.
10th time, yeah. We have both seen this movie multiple times.
And we've seen it on the big screen.
We have, yeah.
So what did I notice? I think I realised that it was almost perfect.
It is very good.
It's probably the novelty. So I couldn't watch every Hitchcock movie this number of times. So I think the novelty of watching fresh movies meant that sometimes I feel like other movies are better than this, but really there's almost nothing better than this.
It is really good.
I mean, it is second on everyone's preference list. There's not a lot of humour in it, and that is...
I don't know.
There's a fair bit, yeah.
I think there's a good amount of humour in it.
Yeah.
I think there's some pretty funny lines in there.
I think it's because there's some very serious people in it.
Yeah.
It is very funny, but there are some very serious people in it. And so therefore, people who like a bit more humour sprinkled into their Hitchcock deliberately may...
Yeah, there's not really banter, but like
No.
the character, like Anthony Perkins is so good.
He's so
and like,
funny,
And
yeah.
he's incredibly funny. Like playing this role, he's like this kind of charming, dorky guy. And that's what he comes across as 97 or 8% of the time. And then every now and then the facade will slip when he gets frustrated or annoyed.
It's masterful.
It's fantastic.
Incredible. And when we were watching, actually, at the very start, one of the first things we said on the rewatch was, is this a Christmas movie?
Yes, because it starts on the December the 11th, famously, that date pops up. And then we were kind of doing the calculations as we went along. Now, obviously, kind of the most tired debate in all of movies is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Who cares? We don't care about that. But I think we need to start switching the question to Psycho. Is Psycho a Christmas movie? Because it finishes 9 days later on December the 20th, which is pretty Christmassy. Maybe it's a Hanukkah movie.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that date changes all the time.
We should be getting Christmassy, but there's nothing.
There's no indication, yeah.
These people are not very festive. It's a small town. You'd think that there'd be a few decorations up.
Or if instead of dressing up as Mother, he should have just dressed up as Santa in the final scene. Imagine that. That would have been very frightening.
Yeah.
Yes, but yes, it's not quite a Christmas movie, alas. But it should be. There should be, like, in the hardware store, it should have, I don't know, Christmas trees for sale or something.
The woman who comes in to talk about poisoning people and rats should have a Christmas hat on, or at least gay Christmas earrings.
Something.
They probably didn't exist back in 1960.
Yeah, maybe not.
And maybe they stuck very strictly to Christmas decoration rules, and I'm not sure what they were, but there's certainly been rules in the past.
Oh, really?
Maybe you're not supposed to put up your decorations too early. You've got to take them down pretty quickly.
Oh, maybe
That's
we
been
should
relaxed.
bring those back. Yeah, let's bring those rules back.
Let's bring those rules back.
Yep.
We'll see if we can look them up. But I think there was probably a little bit more of that back then.
Yeah. The most famous scene, obviously, is the shower scene. Like, it is transcends pretty much every other scene. Well, it does transcend every other scene in Hitchcock. And obviously a great scene. But given how acclaimed it is, given like this immense status it's got, is it possible that the shower scene is overrated? What do you say?
I say yes.
Right.
I say absolutely yes, it is overrated because, and I'll perhaps go back to my first time I've watched Psycho. And I don't think I was particularly young the very first time I watched it. But I already had heard about the shower scene, as everyone has.
Yep.
So when it came to the shower scene, I kind of thought, she's kind of getting stabbed. Does she really die from that little scratch that she got from that mother? There's not much blood. I actually thought it was overrated in real time the first time I watched it.
Right. I'm going to completely disagree.
You're going to go
I don't think it's overrated at all. I knew what it was, and I think we can't really judge it on people who already knew what it was. Imagine at the time, like, you think Janet Leigh is the main character in this movie. Like, that's the brilliance of it.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, how's she going to escape? She's not escaping. The movie is just completely pivoted. Imagine how confused you must have been. Like, where the hell is this movie going now? The main character just died. And
it broke a massive rule. Killing the main characters is just, it's not on, right?
Yeah, I think just for that, if like the scene itself with the stabbing and the screeching music, and the music's as iconic as anything else, I think the scene by itself is pretty much properly rated, but just the way that it transforms the movie in a way that must have just blown people's brains out. Like, you must have gone, I don't get it. What's happening the second half of this movie?
Yeah.
That's why I think it's still not overrated. I think it's such a great plot twist.
And there wasn't a lot of gore of this kind shown in these kinds of movies in the past. But anyway, I still think overrated.
Yeah,
Overrated.
I re-listened to our original coverage of this. You were complaining about the lack of blood in that time as well. You also complained about Janet Leigh jumping in and just letting the cold water go on her straight away.
That's right. She shouldn't be having a cold shower.
Yes. All right, so let's flip this then. What's an underrated scene for this particular movie?
Well, we think that the underrated scene may be Arbogast interrogating Norman. So it's a pretty fun scene because Arbogast is right on to Norman and he's very gently, Columbo style, gently coming in to the interrogation, right?
Yeah.
And particularly when Norman says that he's never seen Marion. Arbogast reminds him
Yeah,
that he
Arbogast
has.
just very calmly tears apart every claim that Norman makes. So Norman's lies are just dismantled one by one. He says, nobody's been here for a couple of weeks. Definitely not. And then it's just like, oh. And then Arbogast says, wait a sec, didn't you say that? And he says, oh, yeah, well, maybe some people have been here. But definitely not this woman. Well, maybe she was here, but her hair was all wet and the photo you showed me wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And she left the next morning. So just bit by bit, he's broken down. And then Arbogast says, what about your mother? Can I speak to her? And that, of course, is where everything goes bad for poor old Arbogast. But
yeah, it is a great scene.
it's very fun, very funny. And, of course, Anthony Perkins is, again, brilliant with his little lies and his little ticks. And you can see him just getting ever so slightly frustrated as it increases. So,
Yeah, he's got some tells for his lying. And we also saw it with Marion a little bit earlier, the similar kinds of, I don't know, lies or untruths coming out. And you see how quickly he gets frustrated and then clearly goes to murder. He jumps straight from... I can have a nice social conversation. Oh, I'm out.
Yeah,
Let's kill him.
Yeah. Yes. So we are, of course, running the book club on this one over on the Patreon feed.
It's a great book.
And we will continue that over the next month because we'll do the Oscar comparison for the second half of covering Psycho. So we have had some feedback so far. So I've started the book. We've also had Rebecca. She says, as much as I enjoy Block's book, the film is an improvement. And she kind of wonders if the film would have been so successful if someone other than Perkins had been cast.
Yeah.
And probably not.
Yeah.
She does also suggest, though, that the film kind of relegates Sam and Lila to stick figures, which is a bit unfair. They're more rounded in the book. So,
Yeah, I can't remember them being more rounded. I do remember them having more not romantic conversations. There was a hint that maybe Sam would move on with Lila.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Which I suppose was just hinted at in the book.
Yes. And Freddie agrees. He also says his main observation was that Lila is much more rounded and interesting in the book. So and a lot more emphasis on her relationship with Sam. So so there's more to come over on the Patreon feed. So you can check that out on patreon.com/hitchpod. Just $2 a month. Pay the $2.
Yeah, pay the $2.
Pay the $2.
And also on Patreon, we're still, of course, watching some movies from the Hitchcock era that have Hitchcock-esque qualities. So we recently watched Touch of Evil, in which Janet Leigh foolishly checked into an abandoned hotel. Why is she doing this?
That was so funny when she did that. It was, Touch of Evil was which year? It was predates this.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So it's fantastic. You can only assume that Hitchcock watched that and thought it was a good idea.
Yes. And we are about to watch 3 Days of the Condor featuring the recently departed Robert Redford. So, a couple of bucks a month. Join in the book club, listen to all our stuff, dozens of other movies we've discussed, including, of course, our original coverage of every single Hitchcock movie. And, pay the $2.
We are going to continue as well,
Yes.
even though we're almost finished this rewatch.
This countdown, yeah.
Yeah. So where did our listeners like to put this one? How many put it at number one?
Well, lots and lots of first place rankings, as you'd expect. 15% of people had it number one, which is probably not as many as I thought. I would think that a lot of people, but no.
I think a lot of people who've watched 3 Hitchcock movies put it at number one.
Yes.
Maybe once you've watched 10 or 15, there's a lot more to choose from.
That is true. What do you reckon its lowest ranking was? So just as a guideline, North by Northwest's lowest ranking was 18th. What do you reckon the lowest ranking for Psycho was?
I'd say it was 10.
32nd.
Oh, yeah, actually, I should have known
Somebody
that. Some
really
people
disliked it. Yeah.
Some people hate it. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
There's a lot more diversity on Psycho than, say, North by Northwest.
I wonder if the people who have it low think it's overrated as opposed to hating it.
Yeah.
But we'll never know.
We will never know because we're not doing follow-up because we don't have their details anymore.
Tell us on social media why you don't like it if you rank it low. It's interesting.
87% of people had it in their top 20, however, and 80% in their top 10. But differences between patrons and non-patrons, if everybody was weighted evenly, it'd be the third best. So it would swap places with North by Northwest. So our patrons do prefer Psycho to North by Northwest. Just slightly.
Slightly,
Just
yeah.
enough to bump it up one slot. And in the last few days, we've also run some polls on social media, so follow us on Blue Sky, hitchpod.bluesky.social. First up, who is your favourite male character? I gave them the option of Norman, Arbogast and Sam. You can write in always, but what do you think people
It
want?
has to be Norman.
It's 100% Norman, not a single person, but
Incredible.
anybody else.
Yeah.
Favourite female character? Marion, Lila and Mother.
Oh, that Mother would be. I think. Look, it better be. I'd like it to be Marion.
Yeah, it is. 85% of people said Marion. Lila got the other 15%. Mother didn't get anything. I did the most iconic line.
Oh.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Got 50%.
Yep.
Screaming over a loud string soundtrack was 35%.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a write-in answer, which I'd forgotten about this quote, but it is a great line. And there's Bates Motel letterhead to impress your friends. So
that is a great line.
That's a very good line.
What a terrific pick-up there.
Yes. I also gave people a couple of options. What's your preferred way of getting rid of a suspicious car? Trading it in while a cop watches you, 0%. Burying it in a swamp, 100% of people. So that's how most people get rid of their suspicious cars.
Fantastic.
And then we had some favourite scenes or moments.
Right.
We had someone suggesting when the car momentarily stops sinking in the swamp, which of course is a great moment.
That is a classic.
Someone says, oddball answer, but that crazy tracking shot up the staircase that ends on the ceiling outside the bedrooms and hovers there while Arbogast fights with Mother. So,
yes.
A little bit of a...
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also like the moment where Lila sees the indentation of Mother on the bed.
Yes.
That's extraordinarily creepy.
Yeah.
And I only just realised in this watch that the reason the indentation is so
Pronounced,
strong is because he's filled Mother with sawdust, which is probably heavier than what Mother used to be filled with.
Yep.
So crazy. Ugh, awful to think about it.
Yes, we also had kind of similar to that where someone said the death of Arbogast was their favourite scene, so very similar kind of period. Someone agrees with us, the interrogation scene between Norman and Arbogast, they love that scene, so more evidence that it's a very
good,
underrated.
Yeah.
And from Tom at the Good Evening Pod, another great Hitchcock podcast, he says Marion driving the car and spots her boss on foot. So,
that's wonderful.
That's a great moment.
Yep.
And we had one last question from Peter, who asked, do you recall your first viewing of Psycho? For me, it was in the woodwork room my first year of high school on a projector with a tinny speaker. The music of the shower scene cut right through me. Do you remember your first watch? I remember mine.
I do not remember. I cannot remember it, but I know that I was an adult. I was over the age of 18 anyway. I cannot remember watching it for the first time.
I remember mine was, 5 or 6 years ago as part of this podcast. I had never seen it before.
That was incredible that you'd never watched it before.
Yep.
And I like the idea that high schools are showing Psycho as part of their curriculum.
In the woodwork room. I guess there's lots of cutting implements in the woodwork room. It's a very dangerous place.
Right.
Yes.
Fantastic.
All right, so we're going to re-rank this one.
We are indeed. And on my list, I originally had it number 7. You had it number 2.
Number 2, yes.
What was your number 1?
My number
Birds.
1 original. No, I think it was Rope. I think it was my original number 1. And
Yes.
Rope's gone down on my rewatch.
Yes, it was Rope. I can see now it was Rope.
Yes. But I'm going to change my mind again because having watched this again, I agree with you. This is close to perfect. Like there's the clunky psychiatrist at the end is probably the only thing that doesn't really age well. But every time I watch it, I go, this is very, very good.
It is amazing.
And I know it's a very basic opinion to have Psycho as your favourite Hitchcock movie, but I think it might be.
You're going up to number 1.
I think it's my number 1. I think it's his best movie.
Yeah.
Yep. So I've got my new re-ranking on the rewatch. Psycho 1, Dial M for Murder. 2, The Birds. 3, and Rope has slipped down to number 4.
There you go. Well, I'm the same as you. Not number 1. Nothing will knock North by Northwest off number 1, except maybe the next movie that we're doing next time. But I'm bumping mine up from number 7 to number 3.
Number 3, okay.
So mine is now North by Northwest, followed by Notorious, then Psycho.
Right.
Then The Lady Vanishes, and then The Birds.
Right.
And I find that we were talking about which movie would you watch if all 5 of your top 5 were playing at once, which one would you pick? And it's really difficult between the top 5.
Yeah.
I would probably just pick the one I'd seen the least recently.
Yeah, they're all good,
because they're
aren't
also
they?
fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Very good. Okay, I think we're about to do our deep dive into a scene now.
As I said, I last saw your sister when she left this office on Friday. She said she didn't feel well and wanted to leave early. I said she could. That was the last I saw her. Oh, wait a minute. I did see her sometime later driving... I think you'd better come over here to my office, quick. Carolyn, get Mr. Cassidy for me. After all, Cassidy, I told you, all that cash. I'm not taking the responsibility. Oh, for heaven's sake. Girl works for you for 10 years, you trust her. All right, yes, you better come over.
Well, I ain't about to kiss off $40,000. I'll get it back, and if any of it's missing, I'll replace it with her fine, soft flesh. I'll track her, never you doubt it.
Oh, hold on, Cassidy. I still can't believe... It must be some kind of a mystery. I can't...
You checked with the bank, no? They never laid eyes on her, no? You still trusting? Hot creeper, she sat there while I dumped it out. Hardly even looked at it. Planning, and even flirting with me.
So that's part, of course, of Marion's imaginings of what is going on back at the, or what will be going on, because this is before
Monday morning, or
Yes. So, and that's only part of the scene. There's more and more of it, but it's a fantastic scene. So we get all these kind of tight close-ups of Marion at the wheel, and then we cut to the road, and then we cut back to an even tighter shot. So it's kind of this gentle zoom in. It gets closer and closer to her as he goes deeper and deeper into her thoughts.
And also the strings in the background.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the first time you hear the stabby strings. Maybe it is the first time you hear the stabby strings, but that's basically it's not the shower strings, but it is the dramatic.
It's definitely hinting at it,
it's
right?
The dramatic strings coming in, and the other thing was that beautiful close up of her smile at the very end of that.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
Yeah, it's a really good scene because it kind of serves two purposes. So it's firstly, it's kind of a bit of characterization for Marion. We do see her face. We see her kind of a little bit afraid at first, then kind of imagining this, and then this, as you say, this final smile at the end, which is perfect, and that's obviously a fun piece of acting work for Janet Leigh.
Yeah,
and it's kind of a vote of confidence in her because she's got to carry the emotion of this with just a single close-up on her.
Yes.
And I remember reading once, and I tried to track it down, I couldn't find it, but someone once said somewhere a significant difference between a movie star and a TV star is that in TV, the stars are all small. They're in this like little box in your home, and that requires some sense of kind of familiarity and comfort. So there's some level of charisma needed to succeed there. But in movies, particularly in close-ups, your face is like this enormous, like it's blown up to enormous size. It towers over everything.
Yeah.
So you need to be even more compelling about, need to have something even more compelling about you to be able to justify filling that large of a screen to kind of dominate the environment to that extent. So that's a different kind of charisma, and helps if you're incredibly beautiful like Janet Leigh. But it's
making your head that big. I mean, it's a very film noir technique, right?
Yes.
Isn't it? That close up on part of your face too, not even the full face being framed.
Well, and Hitchcock kind of gets closer. Like every time he cuts the road, he cuts back, and it's slightly closer in on her. But I'm not sure I fully buy that theory, but it has always stuck with me.
It's incredible. Yeah, really clever. The other thing I like about this scene is she's driving for a long, long time, which allows her to sort of sit with these feelings. So you get the feeling that it's playing over and over in her head.
Yes.
So somehow he's managed to create the monotony of the journey too through some of this.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're sort of in with your own thoughts for this long length of time?
Yeah.
So I had a bit of a look actually at Arizona to California, and it depends where. Was he in San Francisco? I can't remember.
It's near San Francisco.
Right, okay.
So, yeah.
So anyway, Arizona to California is at least a 12-hour drive now. So it's probably was longer for her, but it was definitely more than one day, which made it a good distance. But the other thing I like about it is it's north by northwest.
Fantastic, yes. That's very good. So, and the other kind of thing that characterization-wise, what we are hearing are Marion's versions of these people. So, because it's all in her imagination. So they're slightly more pompous or blustery, or the car salesman slightly more weaselly. So we get a little bit of Marion's characterization by way of how she kind of caricatures others, which is
and
kind
how
of
much
cool.
she didn't like the cowboy dude.
Yes, yeah.
Because he's portrayed as a bit of a buffoon even in her replaying.
Yeah. So it's kind of a little bit of an unreliable narrator kind of
Yes.
thing. It's like, this isn't quite what happened, but it's certainly how Marion imagines it happening. So that's kind of the characterization element of this scene. But it does also serve a narrative purpose, because it's a way for kind of Hitchcock to sneak in a portion of the plot, almost in the form of a radio play, without having to shoot those scenes.
Yeah.
So, you know, he needs to save money on this movie because he's funding it himself. And he avoids staging all these multiple talky scenes just by outsourcing them to Marion's imagination, which is
that's
cheaper
really
and faster.
clever.
And it's not just that it's cheaper, it's like even dramatically tighter. Like you don't have to break from the main thrust of the plot to go back and see all this stuff.
That's right, which would really take you out of her point of view, which we're supposed to be so tightly sort of bound to her now.
Yeah.
And it also means that we stay with her for longer, so we're going to miss her more when she goes.
Yes.
Very clever.
Yes. And of course the timing wouldn't have worked. Like this would have to come after her death, when you really don't want to get bogged down in all this kind of stuff. Like, she's done, it's time to move on to the next.
It's very clever. And it doesn't happen in the book. I can't remember.
I can't remember the book, not up to that yet. But yeah, and it does also kind of foreshadow, because it's a flash forward, effectively. It foreshadows how Arbogast gets involved without having to show him, you know, being recruited or whatever. So when he pops up, it's just like, that's fine.
right.
We kind of imagined.
We got him out of Marion's imagination. Yeah.
Yes.
It's really terrific.
And finally, of course, there's kind of, as you mentioned, the kind of fun of the soundtrack itself. So you've got Herman's soundtrack, and these imagined voices kind of slide in and out like stations on a car radio. So it's like she's got them on her car radio. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
And I do kind of like the idea that it's a little challenge to Orson Welles. It's like, you like your little radio plays, Orson? Here's kind of my version of a radio play.
Oh, that's very funny.
I think it's very cool. So a very good scene.
Extraordinarily good.
Your Honor, this is an armed robbery, and that would be a minimum amount of bail in a case of this type.
The request is denied, Counselor.
Put him downstairs, officer.
Introducing PayPal. Next time you're wrongly accused of a crime, don't waste time with expensive lawyers and impossible searches for justice. Instead, PayPal it. Receive an ironclad alibi for your whereabouts with all the convenience of one PayPal payment. PayPal. Innocence is one click away.
So we know that Hitchcock loved to redo ideas from his own movies, and let's assume after 65 years he's still around and he's going to redo Psycho. What would he do next time? What would he do this time?
Yes. Well, first of all, there's the option of changing the title, which would be a crazy thing to do, but we always ask ChatGPT for some titles. There's some rippers in here. You ready?
Oh, no.
Knife to Meet You.
Oh, good grief.
The Shower Must Go On.
Did you specifically ask for bad puns?
It must know me. Mother Knows Best, and The Birds, open bracket, taxidermied, close bracket.
Oh, that's great. I love that one. That's definitely a parody. The Birds, open bracket, taxidermy, close bracket. Can you write that one?
Yeah, maybe.
We need to write a Hitchcock parody, don't we, after all of this?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Psycho, of course, could not possibly be changed, and they didn't. All of the remakes kept the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
What else could be done though in this redo?
Well, we know that we don't love that psychiatrist exposition at the end, being very exposition-y. It could have been done a lot tighter, I think.
Yeah.
It didn't need. We could have had nobody in the room, is what we were talking about. Nobody in the room except the psychiatrist and the policeman, and then eventually you go and you find Mother.
Yeah.
So the same thing could have been achieved with just the policeman making some terrible comment and then the psychiatrist correcting the policeman. I did not need the Agatha Christie style audience there for the end.
I just don't think you need it at all in this day and age. I think audiences, like I understand why you perhaps needed it in 1960. These days I think enough people would understand, all right, he's had some kind of break.
So it should have been silent. It probably should have been like the first tracking scene in reverse, because that would bookend it beautifully.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly why I don't like the exposition scene, because it doesn't bookend the movie in the way that perfect movies should be done. So we tracked in through a window originally, and
Yep.
I think it might be great to either track in again, that would have been fine, to track in the window and end up on Norman's face.
We
track
do
out.
track in, like it zooms in, but it's not from the window, right?
No.
So it would be better out from outside kind of the institution where he is now to actually come in through. He must have a window in his cell somewhere.
Yeah, well, it would be a barred window probably, and then he would come in through the cell, and then we'd see the fly, and maybe even some you could hear some internal thoughts. That's still pretty good. Actually.
He could still have his well, I wouldn't hurt a fly. That I think that's pretty good. So I think you could still have Norman's thing. I just don't think you need the psychiatrist at all these days.
Yeah, and you could track out. You could start with Norman's eye, and then track out, and eventually you see that it's actually Mother. I think that would be really interesting as well. Yeah. Anyway, that's reshooting that bit. Obviously, the audiences at the time needed that. They would have tested it.
Yeah.
So, what else would you change?
Well, going back to your theory that there's not enough blood in the shower scene, given the greatest cinematic freedom today, Hitch could have just thrown in a whole heap of blood. Might have even done it in colour. You can have red blood these days.
Yeah.
So I think he'd do that. And I think he'd also be more willing to show some nudity in the scene.
Yes.
If Frenzy's any guide, like wasn't hesitant about showing bare breasts in Frenzy. So
and that would have, all of that. I mean, we know Hitch loved that kind of thing. He would have shown a lot of nudity in his films. He didn't because he was doing Hitchcock Presents and it was on TV.
Yep.
But that would have meant that all of his films were a little bit of laughingstock, because I'm not sure that he does nudity that well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yes. So perhaps a good thing.
Maybe the constraint on him was good there.
I also think because Hitch was in charge of the marketing for this one as well, imagine how much fun he'd have these days with all the marketing options you've got today.
Yeah, we've already said how brilliant he would have been at social media of all types, particularly the video forms, but every type. And I think he would have had fantastic fun throwing people off the scent.
Oh, yeah.
Deliberately throwing them off the scent too, because he was very playful with that.
Yeah, I can easily imagine a trailer that shows only scenes from the first, 30 minutes of the movie, just shows Janet Leigh on the run, pretty much no evidence of anything to do with Norman Bates at all. Just, this woman's on the run. Oh, you've got to come and see this movie. How's she going to get away with it?
I think the trailer would be best if it showed her on the run and then showed the scenes in the hotel room with Sam, as if it went in that order.
Yeah.
That would have been a great way to tease that too.
Yeah, he'd definitely market Janet Leigh as the lead. Anthony Perkins would probably just get a with credit. Like he'd downplay it as much as he was legally able to. Janet Leigh could go on all the talk shows for the opening weekend.
Yeah.
Perkins wouldn't show up until the twist would get out by the second or third week. But for the first few weeks, I think he'd have a great time mucking about on social media, and so that would be good. Who would he recast though if he was doing it today?
Well, of course, we would have Florence Pugh. I think actually Florence Pugh would probably improve Lila rather than she doesn't need to be Marion.
Yeah.
I think she would improve Lila. Lila needed to be. Actually, I think in the book or the movie, was she the older sister?
I can't remember. I think so.
It would have been much better if she was the younger sister.
Yeah.
That would have been more consistent with the with that sort of trope, I think.
Well, Sydney Sweeney is the current It girl.
Okay.
She's everywhere, so she's pretty much got to be Marion.
Yep.
I thought straight off Lex Luthor in the new Superman movie, I'd love to see Nicholas Hoult as the Norman Bates role.
It'd be
He's
great.
kind of charming and evil at the same time.
Yeah,
so
that
I
would
think
work. That
that's
would
pretty
really
good.
work.
What about Sam?
Oh, I've got no idea. One of these people from these action movies.
Yeah, I got Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick.
Right.
He's kind of a bland, handsome dude.
Yep.
But and kind of as a bonus, he and Sydney Sweeney starred in some sexy rom-com together, so we can kind of leverage off their
That's good.
previous
They already
connection.
know. Yeah, that's good.
I had Jesse Plemons down as Arbogast. He's this intense dude. He's kind of creepy. He was in Breaking Bad. It's kind of the psychopath.
Oh.
But I think it would work quite well as... I think he's too obviously creepy to be Norman.
Yeah.
So I think it would work pretty well
Creepy
as Arbogast.
investigator, I think, would be great, because that dude would have had some really shady connections, wouldn't he? The one with all the money and all the cash. Yes, I think so. And then we need a cameo, don't we, for this psychiatrist at the end?
If we have to have him, yeah. I've got down, Stephen Fry here as somebody who's happy to waffle on with exposition.
Yeah,
but I also,
definitely someone with a different accent.
Yeah,
English accent.
I was thinking you could gender flip it and have like Olivia Colman or someone like that as the psychiatrist.
I think that's great.
What about some sequels?
There have been some famously bad sequels.
Yes.
So let's do something completely different. We're going to follow the Texan dude?
Yes.
And some kind of movie that carries on with, I guess they get the money back. They pull the car out of the swamp.
Yeah. Well, in the book, I seem to recall that the money, they found the money, it was safely in the glove box. I'm not sure. Norman just chucked it in. I think it's going to be ruined, the money. So
Covered in mud.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it's probably too late for his daughter's wedding. I'm not quite sure how quickly, because that's at least 11 days later by the time they get the car out. So maybe his daughter's already had his wedding. So I kind of envision this as a kind of big dumb movie where his daughter's spoiled rotten because she's got this, all this wealth. She's tremendously upset she's not getting this $40,000 house as a wedding present, and he's kind of running around trying to find a replacement gift for her, and she's not satisfied with any of them, and the wedding's in jeopardy because she's so upset and all this kind of stuff.
It's a Christmas wedding. This is a Christmas movie as well.
Yeah, and I like the idea that the punchline to the whole movie is that he finds this investment property, a lovely little motel out in California.
Yes, perfect.
Yes. ChatGPT suggests that one could be called Daddy's Little Ransom. Not sure that's a great title.
No.
That's what I came up with.
Okay. Well,
what about a prequel?
So the prequel is going to be a rom-com, don't you think, about Norman's mother?
Yes. Norman.
So the dude trying... We got a little bit of this backstory, so we've probably got enough. Norman being the spoiler and being scowly and disapproving the whole time, trying to split them up.
Yes, yep.
I think that would be a great spoiler. And then again, just like Psycho, we think it's going one way because it's a rom-com, and then at the very end they just die.
Yeah. The last scene's him making them a dinner and just pouring a little bit of poison into it. Just like he's tried all these kind of fun schemes to break them up. They're determinedly sticking together. It's like, fine, if you want to stick together, you stick together in the grave.
See you later.
Yes. ChatGPT came up with the title for that one called Let's Get Back to Norma.
Oh, good grief. Was her name Norma?
I think so. It's certainly so. Norma in the book. I don't think it's actually mentioned in the movie.
No, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe the sheriff's wife mentions it. I can't remember.
Maybe, yeah.
Anyway, what about the 8-part TV show?
I think, and we usually try to make these minor characters, but I'm just so taken with the idea of kind of a one-man sitcom about Norman's day-to-day life, arguing with his stuffed mother, trying to run a hotel, kind of Faulty Towers, but just
quite
creepier.
dark.
Yeah. So I think that would be kind of funny to have.
And how does he get changed in and out of all the clothing? And we did see a view of the closet with all the dresses in it.
Yeah.
So how does he adjust mother's clothing to make them fit?
Yeah.
And where did he get the wig from? And does he order them online? Yeah, that's good. And the way he said, I change the sheets once a week, whether they need it or not. We'd just be following him changing the sheets.
Yeah, and all these heated debates. A little bit mother and son as well, except the mother's already dead. You
could almost make a reality TV show, couldn't you? Where you had different couples staying in the 12 units.
Yeah. Yeah. So ChatGPT suggests that one could be called Basic Hospitality.
Okay. Yeah, right.
All right. I think that's enough. Mm-hmm. Before we go on to related movies, a happy birthday to Psycho itself, which is 65 this very month. The Trouble with Harry is also turning 70 years old.
And The Trouble with Harry hasn't aged quite as well as Psycho.
No.
Psycho's looking pretty good for 65.
Yes. Yeah. According to Google, if you enjoy movies like Psycho, you'll also like the following 3 movies. So the first one that popped up for us was Halloween from 1978.
Going straight to some
Straight to another slasher, yeah. 6-year-old Michael kills his teenage sister Judith in 1963 on Halloween night. He spends 15 years in a mental hospital, but a set of events in 1978 leads to his escape, and a killing spree begins.
I don't think I ever knew what Halloween was about.
That's a John Carpenter movie. It stars Jamie Lee Curtis, who, of course, is the daughter of Janet Leigh, and Donald Pleasance is in there as well.
I don't think I've ever seen Halloween.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like it.
Don't think I need to.
Yeah.
But we also have a recommendation for Misery, which is really interesting. This is a famous book as well. After an accident, acclaimed novelist Paul Sheldon is rescued by Anne Wilkes, a nurse who claims to be his biggest fan, but while recuperating in her house, he has a nightmarish experience. And this one stars Kathy Bates.
Yes, very fitting. It also stars James Caan, is directed by Rob Reiner.
Based on a book by
Stephen King, yeah.
Stephen King,
Yep. And the final suggestion was Peeping Tom from 1960.
Oh, yes.
Mark, a psychologically ill filmmaker, murders women and records their dying moments. His neighbour Helen becomes curious about his documentaries and watches one of them secretly. Directed by Michael Powell, starring Moira Shearer, Karl-Heinz Bohm. And we have already covered this on the Patreon.
And it was creepy.
It was very creepy. So pay the $2 and you can go see our thoughts on Peeping Tom, which of course came out same year as
same year,
Psycho,
yeah.
And of course, if you don't like Psycho, then you probably shouldn't watch those movies either. And what should you watch instead?
Instead, you should watch our next movie. It's going to be a face-off, as always, between Psycho and the movie that beat it to the Best Picture Oscar. Nothing should have beaten this. However, it is a famous movie, The Apartment, directed by Billy Wilder and starring Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine. A Manhattan insurance clerk just tries to rise in his own company by letting its executives use his apartment for trysts, but office politics and his own romantic hopes complicate the matters.
Yes. So we will go through all the major categories, of course, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, etc. And we will see if Psycho was robbed.
I'm looking forward to watching The Apartment.
But until then, I'm Dan Lipke, buying a house for my daughter's wedding.
And I'm Kat Jones, sitting with my back to you in a rocking chair. Thank you for listening to HitchPod. Please come and talk to us on
Blue Sky
at
hitchpodonline.com.
or on Facebook by searching for HitchPod. And you can also email us directly at feedback@hitchpodonline.com. And if you want more Hitchcock content, please consider becoming a HitchPod supporter. Just go to patreon.com/HitchPod. And for as little as $2 a month, you can get access to our Season 1 coverage of every single Hitchcock movie, as well as bonus episodes on Hitchcock-esque movies. Invitations also to watch live rewatches and much, much more.
He was flirting with you. I guess he must have noticed my wedding ring.